Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey Shew and I'm with the Shew Properties Realtor team. I'm here today to teach you about the resale process in the GTA home market and what to do to buy a condo or an existing home. I have another video about pre-construction process timeline if you're buying a condo unit that is not built yet, and 4 years down the line it finishes, what to expect when buying that. Now, resale I define as something that is already existing. You can feel the property, you can touch it, you can go inside it, right? Somebody else has previously bought the property, they've owned the property, and now they're selling it to you. So let's get into it. So something you need to know about the resale timeline is that when you sign that deal, the buyers and the sellers have agreed. Typically, it's going to take either 1 to 3 months, from when you sign the deal to possession of the house, okay, or of the condo unit. Okay, so this process takes 1 to 3 months. Okay, if it's vacant, then it could be as fast as 2 weeks. I've done a closing in 2 weeks. I've done a closing in a week and a half, actually. So it's very possible to do a very, very, very quick closing. It's also sometimes it's possible for a very long closing, as maybe the buyer needs time to sell their property, or maybe the seller needs time to move into the next property. So every single scenario is kind of different. It's hard to say, like, what the scenario, what the timeline is per se, but a general rule of thumb, 1 to 3 months is what you're looking at. Now, here's the timeline. Here is signing, and then over on the right is closing date. This whole process, like I said, would take 1 to 3 months. On signing, when you have an accepted agreement, the buyer has to pay a 7% deposit payment to the brokerage's trust account. Okay, so that's just in good faith. And then sometimes, or actually a lot of times, you'll have a conditional period where you can do conditional on financing, right? So if the bank, all right, this gives you 5 business days to check your finances, see if the bank is going to finance this property for you or not. Another one is inspection, so you can get an inspector within these 5 business days to take a look at it and then give you a full inspection report. And then the third one, status certificate. So this is actually only for condos or any common element type of homes where there's a status certificate to give you a condo report about the maintenance fee. Is it going to go up? How much does the reserve fund have? Stuff like that. Is there any special assessment? Is there any legal lawsuits against the condominium corporation? You'll see all that. And then, I've heard of this, but I've never done it myself, is condition on a sale of a previous home. And then typically there's a timeline within that previous home too. But there could be these reasons why there's conditional period. If the market is a buyer's market, then you'll see a lot of conditional agreements. But if the market is a seller's market, then it's very unlikely that you'll see any conditional periods, right? If a seller has the option to choose many buyers, then he would want to choose the one that is going to give him a firm deal. There's also conditional periods in pre-construction as well. But if you're looking into pre-construction, this is, there's another video that talks about the pre-construction condos. Okay, so after you say, okay, I'm going to buy this place, this is now my place, the conditional period has passed, and now the agreement is firm and binding. You will have to get an inspection for the appraisal, right? So the bank is going to need somebody to assess the value of the home and then appraise for what the bank thinks it's worth. And then that's how they will assess how much to give you in a loan. And then it's always suggested 1 day prior to closing or 2 or 3 days prior to closing that you take another look inside the home, right? Just make sure that, he's not messing around or like everything's there, everything's working before you give the money, right? So it's just for your own sake, double check and inspect the unit 1 day prior to giving the money. And then the third one is optional, but if you are going to buy this to live in the place, then a lot of times you want to measure the place before, designing the furniture and all that. Maybe you want to draw the floor plan. It's very common that you do this for measurements and just start designing and stuff. Now on closing. So once closing date happens, right? You've already talked to the bank, everything's good to go. You've given your bank draft to the lawyer. The lawyer will give it to the developer, and you're going to get the keys on this day, right? You'll have to pay some closing fees. The big one is land transfer tax. That's basically majority of your pay. I'd say that's about 95% of your closing fees, right? Everything else, legal fees, title insurance, maintenance fees, it's all very minor. Legal fees, I think we can get it within, around $1,000 to $1,500. Maintenance fees, it depends, right? So if you're in the middle of the month, then you're only going to pay half the maintenance fee. Adjustments on utilities. So, if you're in the middle of the month, again, you're only paying half the utilities on that day. Adjustments on property tax depends, where you are in the year. And then the whole remaining with the mortgage. So really, it's just the land transfer tax that's the main cost for closing. You can find a calculator online. It will tell you exactly how much it is. Remember that in the city of Toronto, it is double land transfer tax. In York Region, Peel Region, or other places, it is only one land transfer tax. So here's an example of a Toronto condo. So location, I actually pulled this off MLS, right? I just took a sold unit, anything, and then I pulled it off. The sold price was $910,000. It was listed at $915,000. The days on the market, it was sold in 12 days, and it's 1228 square feet, $950 per month. Okay, this was actually sold, I believe, in August 2020. Now the property tax for this was $3,300. It was sold in September 16th, 2020, and the closing date is October 27th, 2020. So, I'm going to use this information and put it into the timeline for you. Now, we have draw the timeline here, right? Our signing date over here, September 16th, 2020. That's when it was sold. The purchaser pays a deposit of $63,700, right? Payable to the listing brokerage trust account. They typically have a 5 business conditional day period. I'm not sure if this deal had it, right? But 5 business days is 1 week. So by September 23rd, 2020, that is when your conditional day expires. Now, a week later, the bank, will do an appraisal, measurements, calculate the value of the home, and then you will be required to sign some papers to say that you want the loan. Okay, and then on October 25th, 2020, you do a final inspection, right? Because closing's coming up, you're about to give the money. You just want to double check and make sure that everything is okay. You want to make sure that, they're not taking away your appliances, or they're not breaking anything before they give it to you. October 27th, 2020 comes, okay? And the remaining balance you owe is $846,300 at this point in time. Your legal fees is $1,500, and your land transfer tax is $29,350. Okay. Closing fees, honestly, I really overestimated this of $33,250, but I don't think it will be that. I think it would be closer to $32,000, right? But you're gonna be in the range of around 31 to like 33,000. Okay, so this is the approximation, but yeah. This is an idea of a downtown Toronto condo that is a 3-bedroom, 1,100 square foot. This one sold in September, so if you were to buy a Toronto downtown condo now, this is kind of what you're expecting. This building is a bit older, which is why you are able to get a decent price for how big it is, right? If you're looking for a newer building, then you're not going to get such a good deal for the size. Now, fees and expenses after. You'll have your mortgage payments, your maintenance fees, your property tax, your insurance, so homeowners insurance, any property management fees if this is an investment and you want to pay a property management to deal with the tenants and all that. Now, right now, $26.88 per month is what you would be paying for the mortgage payments. This is assuming that it's an 80% loan and a 30-year amortization with the 2% interest rate. The maintenance fee is $948.5. Your property tax, given that it was $33,776, I divided it by 12 and I got $281.33. Insurance is about $900 a year, so well, it depends how big it is. It could be a bit more than this. Actually, this is a bit on the low end. I could see this at 1,200. But anyways, in this example, we put it at 75. And then depending on your wear and tear and if you have a property management, but I didn't incorporate this into the cost as most people do not have a property manager and they would rather manage it themselves. Okay, your monthly expense here will be $4,000 a month, roughly. So your income, however, will be your rental income and your capital appreciation. So this is where this is your bread and butter. This is how you're gonna make money. $3,000 per month from the rent. Okay, so your rent does not cover your expenses here, right? So $994 is coming out of your pocket. You're gonna have to fork out $1,000 a month to afford this condo, and that's if you rent it. Okay, so you have to understand that there will be some times where you don't rent it and you will be paying $4,000 a month out of your bank account, your savings, or wherever you're going to pull it out from. You're going to have to fork out $4,000 a month, potentially for 1 to 3 month vacancy period, and then the other times you'll be getting rent. That won't happen very often, right? Because once somebody decides to lease these 3 bedrooms, these 3 bedroom tenants, they stay for very long. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years is typically what I see at the bare minimum. So that's the good thing about getting a large unit. Now, yeah, with the capital appreciation part, if I just calculated at 3% per year for the total purchase price, we're getting $22.62 per month, and that's very, very, very minimal. Like, you will get 3% per year in the long run. So totally, you're getting $52.63 per month in income. So this is actually how much you're making if we incorporate capital appreciation as well. I didn't really incorporate principal into this payment, so it's actually a bit more than this because you are paying off your loan as well, and paying off your loan is giving you a bit more equity than $5,200 a month. So realistically, you are making more, but in terms of cash flow wise, in order to afford the property, you actually have to dish out a bit of cash. Now, I did another example for the Markham house. It's just to give you more of an idea of the difference between Markham and downtown Toronto. Now, this is in Highway 7 and Burr Oak. The sold price was $930,000. The listed price was $795,000. So this actually sold $135,000 over asking. It's a townhouse. It was sold in 8 days. So actually really quick. And the size was 2180 square feet. Maintenance fee is 0 per month as it's a townhouse, no maintenance fee. And the property tax is $3962.89 in 2019. The sold date was June 11th, 2020, and the closing date is September 30th, 2020. So this was actually a longer closing. This was a 3-month closing. So again, this could be multiple reasons, right? Maybe the buyer needed time to sell his property, so they wanted a longer closing. Maybe the seller needed more time because he needed to move into the house. Maybe the funds don't arrive in Canada because it's a foreign buyer. It's very hard to say why it's this long, but this is typically a long closing. Now we do the timeline here. Okay, June 11th, 2020, you pay the 7% deposit, 65,100 to the listing brokerage trust account. 5 business day conditional, you can, inspection or finance is typically what it is. Then we go to mid-August, and then we do an appraisal and measurements. And then final inspection on September 27th, 2020. And then September 30th, 2020, we get our closing, right? Our closing here is actually a lot cheaper, right? In the other one, it was about 32,000 to 33,000. Here we have legal fees of $1,500. Our land transfer tax is only $15,075. So you can see that our closing fees is only approximately. See, I really higher estimated this on 19,575. I don't see this being 19,575. I see this really more being 16,000 to 17,000. Really, it shouldn't be more than 17,000 to be honest. But yeah, so you can see there's a big difference. There's about a $14,000 difference, and these two prices were about the same. Now, the fees and expenses for a house, you're going to be paying mortgage payments. Maintenance fee vary. It's usually only $160 if there is, and then most of the time there isn't. You're still going to be paying property tax, insurance, property management fees if this is a rental. In this example, $27.50 per month is the mortgage payment. Your $39.62.89 divided by 12, that's the property tax, right? So you get $330 per month, and then the insurance, because it's a house, I estimated a bit more, which at $1,200 per year, which is $100 a month. It's $3,200 per month in expenses. Now the income, the rental income is $3,000 per month, as that's what I believe this house can get. And then the capital appreciation is 3%, per year. At $23.25 per month, you're getting $53.25 per month. So here you're actually only taking out, about $200 out of your pocket to afford this place. You're generating the same amount of income per year if both of them are 3% for a capital appreciation. Capital appreciation is very subjective. It's very hard to say what a house or a property will get in the future years, right? What's going to do better? This is all very, 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 very opinionated. It's, if you ask me, that's for another video. But this is just an example where both locations generate 3% capital appreciation. It's just to give you guys an idea of, what is to come when you buy a property or when you buy a house. Now that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and, watch the next video.